What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Kang Bros TV. It's been a while, you know. It took us a while to get us to that Liverpool defeat, but we're back. England 2, Tunisia 1. Easy work, bruv.
It's coming home, mate. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming.
Alright, listen, bruv. I was sweating. It was like we sat there thinking it's gonna be typical England now, innit? Like they started off really well. Let's be honest. Those chances in the first half, they should have taken them away. Now, Lingard, Sterling, these guys, what were they doing?
Yeah, I think like first of all, put it in perspective. Yeah, like I know performance was one thing. I get that. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, whatever. But listen, dare to dream, innit? Spain drew.
Look at this guy.
Portugal drew. Yeah, Argentina drew. Brazil drew. Yeah, Germany got beat. Listen.
Bro, shut up, man.
Dare to dream.
Listen, to be fair, like you said, they got the 3 points. That is the main and most important thing in this first fixture. There's been some dire performances from some of the better teams, right? And they haven't crossed the line.
But look, listen, I get that, yeah, and I get all your points, and I get everything you're saying, but
don't be negative for just jokes.
No, I'm not being negative. I'm looking at the positives. Yeah.
Go.
Listen, I was talking to a couple of people whilst the game was going on, and one person in particular, we were having quite a heated WhatsApp debate. But it's about, listen, England are identifying a new way of playing in this new system, and they've been working at it, and it's something that they've obviously worked on, and you can see that something is changing. There is a change in what they're doing, and they're trying to play out and stuff like that. My only worry is that I'm all for it. I'm all for having an identity. Everyone's talked about it before. You know, when it was like when we just kept picking Rooney for the sake of picking Rooney, and we kept picking Becks and whatever. There was those arguments, weren't there? Now, you haven't got those guys anymore. What you do have is players that need to fit into the identity that we're trying to do. But there comes a point where, yeah, I'm happy to play out. I like the idea of playing out. But I think that you've got to be big enough and brave enough to make your own decisions. Now, and the person that I was speaking to, who's actually, he's played the football at the highest level, but he said to me that, look, as a football player in that position, you've got to go make a decision that if I start clipping it, the manager's going to be like, this fucker's going against everything I'm saying. He ain't playing next game because he's not listening to me, right? That's one argument that you can look at it. But from my perspective, I think that you can, when England had that little spell when Walker gave the ball away once, Maguire gave it away twice, I was thinking to myself, for that, when they'd given it the ball, Walker had given it away once, Maguire had given it away once. When Maguire had the ball at his feet and they were pressing, England's in this new way of playing, they've still got, as much as a lot of them show feet, there's always two going in behind. There's always runners. There was always Lingard and Sterling. So I don't think you've got to be big enough and brave enough to make your own decision, say, right, I can't play, it's not on here, so I am going to just clip one of those runners. And that's my only thing I worry about. If you had when there was that situation when it was 4-on-3, when Maguire gave the ball away and they managed to make a deflected shot or Kazri slipped or something. But imagine that four was De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, Witsel. You're not going to get. You're going to get punished. And that's my only concern. So I'm happy. I know we started the game really well. We missed loads of chances, and it's worrying because you're like, oh well, how have we missed those chances?
Because they weren't even that hard.
Well, you say that, but you've got
some of these chances.
But you've got to put the spin on it. And I always say this, that having that pessimistic and optimistic spin and pragmatic view. But you keep making those runs, you keep getting in the right areas. More times than not, you'll get your goal.
Yeah.
So I'm not too disheartened by that. First game, you can see the other teams who have had lesser opponents drawn games and lost games. We haven't. We've actually gone and won. We haven't played well and we've won. So the way I'd see it is we can kick on from here. So that's my positive spin on it.
The thing is, to go into the second half, I was actually looking forward to it, thinking the first half has gone well. For the first time, I've seen England create loads and loads of chances. That was new to us. Being Liverpool fans, we see that quite often, not just trying to be cocky, but that's quite used to. But second half, dead. It was shit. I nearly fell asleep at one stage in that second half. Now, what was the difference for you from the first half and second half? Why was it so different?
I think I felt that the game plan for Tunisia had changed. They were very, very happy to just absolutely sit in.
Even the subs.
And it was just sit in and that sort of stuff and take this thing out of the game. Referee didn't let the game flow as much. So I think you've got to put in perspective that, and we know, again, as Liverpool fans, we see it every time. When we go hell for leather, when we played against West Brom, what were they doing? Boom, sitting in, and they looked to get that goal on the break. Any set piece that they got, that was what they wanted to score their goals from. I think England could have probably, and this is, again, it's easy to say there's hindsight's a beautiful thing and whatnot, but for me, I would have probably said, I would have liked to have just gone a bit more braver. I'll probably say, right, let's go Walker, right wing back, Eric Dyer come on and almost join in as a midfielder. Because two centre halves would be enough to deal with the 1-4 that they had. So maybe just say to Dyer, play as like a centre half, but pushing into that midfield when we don't have the ball, when we've got the ball or whatever. And then you can slot back in when we're defending, and Walker's naturally in the right hand side. Little things like that. But I think the opposition made it very, very difficult. They were happy with the 1-1, but equally, and we've seen it again going back to the club football example, but it's physically impossible to keep up that intensity for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
and I know, and it's heat. I know it's not the same as what it would be like in flipping, another country where it is always hot. But I think it was mid to late 20s and it was really muggy. So it's difficult to keep that intensity up for 90 minutes. So I think that's got something to play, a factor to play in it as well.
The penalty, the Kyle Walker penalty. Now a lot of people who watched it with us were saying it was soft. You and me both said
it's a pen. It's a pen.
And he kind of knew what he was doing. If you look at it in slow motion, he kind of knew. So it was 100% pen for you. Yeah?
It's a pen, yeah. It's a pen. And
what about the build up to it as well?
Yeah, I think it was again, wasn't it? It came from just sloppy, moving the ball sloppily, and positioning was poor. I think from that position, the only thing for me, I look at it and think, what was the danger there? The guy he knew where the guy was. He was feeling him up there. Yeah. So as soon as you know where he is, and you know that there's no way he's going to get around you that side.
Exactly.
So there's no need to do that. But VAR doesn't help because it makes it look even worse. VAR makes that look a lot worse. We know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. In real time, you probably looks a lot slower and you probably get away with it. But when you slow it down, it looks a lot worse because it looks like he's deliberately. He's either going to pull him back or he's going to hit an arm. His arm's gone up. So it's a penalty.
So you think for you, is that shit decision making from Kyle Walker?
It's a poor decision. I think it's a poor decision from Walker. Yeah, I think it's a poor decision, and that's my only concern with playing him as a third centre half. If you're going to go 3 at the back, I'd prefer them to have 3 people that have played that position. Whereas Walker, I know he sort of dabbled with it at Man City, but naturally he's a right-sided player, and a lot of people said, well, it's mixed reviews. People thought Trippier played well. Some people thought Trippier wasn't great. I didn't think he was all that tonight. Listen, they've got the result, so you can't be too downbeat about it. But for me, in games like, I don't know, Belgium's obviously the biggest one in the group at the moment. Panama's obviously have to win it, but against Belgium, I'd want people that 3 centre halves. I want someone who can go up against Lukaku. I want someone who knows how to defend against someone like Hazard, and I want Walker to frighten you going that way. That's just my opinion.
As you touched on VAR, what about Harry Kane? Oh. He looked like, I don't know, like a bouncer taking somebody out of refs on one of the weekends. What was that? How is that not given? Because I'm baffled at the moment at where VAR is actually used and where it isn't. Because that was just like assault, literally.
I don't know. I don't know either. Harry Kane's getting dashed about, yeah? Literally just like, woof, woof, dashed about. And then even Maguire. Like, Maguire's a big lad, yeah? And he can look after himself, and he's a monster in the air. So I know there's always that argument about do what you can to put the geezer off. But where's the consistency? There is no consistency. Someone's got to come in and be beeping him, saying, boop, 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 boop. Yo, geez, that's a foul. You missed one. Yeah. You missed one there. Because England should have had 2 or 3 penalties, I think.
If any of the viewers know, like, please tell me, what is going on? I'm happy it's here. But
who makes the call?
That's what I'm saying.
Do they still have those geezers on the side behind the goal? Are they still there?
Well, apparently someone's, like you said, shouting to them that they need to use it now. So I don't know what's happening there.
Because if you look at those, then you're giving penalties. But the flip side to that is if you did give a penalty for one of them, then you're giving them 6 or 7 penalties. But then if you're doing it for Walker's one, you've got to have consistency to give it to Kane's one, and then you've got to stay consistent throughout the tournament. I don't know. I don't know. I think VAR is a bit of a diamond in the rough because it's obviously something that needs to be there, and once nailed, it's going to be brilliant for the game. But at the moment, like today, you look at it and you think, if England didn't get the result there, people are going to be straight away saying, why are these decisions going against us but not for us?
The other thing I want to touch on is the tempo, right? I touched on this a lot with Liverpool and Henderson, all this kind of stuff. But for me, England's tempo was so slow. We were shouting at this. We were literally shouting, saying 2 touches. Didn't you find that it was just so slow at times with the build-up play to go for goal?
Second half, I thought second half was a bit slower, but then again, I'm sure this will be the same for Man City fans and Manchester United fans to a certain extent. But when teams sit behind the ball, It's all good saying move it 2-touch because as I said, we've seen it all season when teams have done that. Move it 2-touch, move it quicker, stay out of his space, get out of his space, move it in, switch to play. But it's difficult when you've got 11 people behind the ball, and it's easy to forget that. We've got the big screen that you see from the TV, and you get the beauty of seeing a big pitch, and like FIFA for example, you'll be like, well, if you pop it into him and first time round the corner to him, then you can slip it through there. It's never as easy as that. But I do think when Maguire steps in with the ball, he's running into a position where he's almost killed 2 people's space.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my biggest problem with it. Like, I don't mind someone stepping in, but then stepping in for stepping in's sake can kill your build-up as well. So there's a fine line. I think it's harsh to say that it was the tempo's slow because I think what they did, I think Tunisia did what they wanted. They crowded the space. That's one thing the manager said, didn't he, against Liverpool? It's hard to drive a Ferrari in central London, right? So that's kind of a Formula 1 car in London. And that's kind of what they did. The tempo could have been quicker, and it could have been, the passing could have been a bit slicker. But
one thing I want to mention to put things in perspective for England fans and us, you got Portugal, Ronaldo stepping up like this in the 90th minute, whatever it was, just take a free kick. Brazil, I've got Neymar, possibly Coutinho if they wanted to use him. Argentina, Lionel Messi. I think it's about the 70th minute. I see Ashley Young stepping up as if he's taking like a kick for the England rugby team. What is going on? Like, we've got players on there like Rashford. We've got Harry Kane. These men can take free kicks. Let's put that in perspective. Neymar.
Wait. Come on. Remember last time when Harry Kane was taking corners and free kicks and that? Remember for England before? And everyone gunned him.
So what? You're saying you're happy with Ashley Young stepping up like that?
No.
Outside the box?
No, listen. I know, but to be fair, Ashley Young has sunk a few free kicks for United.
Yeah, I saw them too. But you're trying to tell me you're going to put him in front of Rashford?
Rashford had just come on.
Well, you saw his first free kick, innit?
Listen, all I'm saying is I don't know.
I'm just putting in perspective.
All I'm saying is the 2 free kick takers we had today that I saw from dead balls were Trippier and Young. Is that if I was a goalkeeper, I'd be like, bruv, just move out the way. Let him shoot, bruv. He ain't scoring. Do you know what I mean? Move. You don't need a wall.
All right, so going on to the positives. Harry Kane. We can't really praise you in the Premier League, but boy, that header at the end, he had like this much space to put it into.
Guy's as cool as ice.
That's the one person you wanted to be there, right? When that ball, and even if it's movement to slide off those 2 defenders and to find that space, and like you said, the composure to put that in.
It's just like if strikers say, I think when. Again, this is a different level, but there's a guy called Adam Lafondra that used to play for Reading, and obviously having affiliation,
Where you going with this, bro?
having affiliations to Reading, I watched a lot of Reading games, and Lafondra, he was just like fox in the box. He just knew where to be. He just knew where to pop up to get a goal, and everyone was like, he's always in the right place at the right time. That striker's sixth sense and stuff like that. Now, this guy Harry Kane is like on steroids compared to everybody else, because he just knows even both the goals. It's just like being at the right place at the right time. Before I thought it was a coincidence. I thought, it's lucky, innit? He just done it. It was a season, whatever happened again. He scored 30 plus goals. I don't know for how many seasons in a row. Yeah. He knows where to be. He's got a six, and then today just proved it. Like I'm looking at everybody else and his movement. He's just gone. You know what? He just assessed the sitch. Where's my position? Where's my POMO? Position of most opportunity. Boom. He was straight there, and the composure he showed to become ice cold. You know what it's like. Even when you're playing on Sunday mornings or whatever at the park with your mates having a kickabout, you get in front of goal, you get boosted, you get excited, innit? Blood starts going everywhere. You start rushing because you're like, I've got to score, I've got to nail it. The guy just goes complete opposite, cold as ice. And listen, as much as anybody can say whatever you want, he doesn't press, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. He scores goals. That's what he does.
Now this is not a biased opinion just because we're Liverpool fans, but for me, Henderson had a great game. Now, the commentators said that we want Henderson, what we want to do is spin and go straight out.
No, it was just Martin Keown, and Martin Keown stuck in the flipping dark ages. Keown, get with the times, brother. If you want them to try and play out, they're not gonna flipping hit 50, 60-yard balls all day, mate. Stop getting out of the dark ages.
Because I thought he had a great game. I think he was spraying the balls well. Like we always say about the tempo, he was keeping things ticking over. And I just felt like, in comparison to all the other midfielders, if you look at Lingard, if you look at Dele Alli, Henderson was the main dude who was actually producing something. With the other midfielders, Sterling, I didn't see much of him today, and he was getting attacked literally like.
Yeah, he was getting dashed about, boy.
They were after him, so I thought Henderson had a good game. What do you take on that?
Yeah, I'm probably, for Liverpool games, I'm quite a harsh judge on Henderson because I think he's a bit too flipping passive.
Yeah, he had a nice strike in the first half as well.
Listen, I think he's actually, not being captain is probably good for him, I think. At Liverpool, I think there's that expectation, isn't there? If you're a captain, you've got to do what Gerrard did and whatever. Now he's just, playing the game. Only thing I would say, and this is similar to quite a few players, and maybe it's a tactical thing, maybe it's something that I'm being naive to, but I just felt that everyone played with their back towards Tunisia's goal quite a bit. I know we always had two runners going the other way, so you're kind of mixing it up. So you got everyone else coming to feet with two spinning in behind. But I just felt that we weren't playing enough on the half turn. When we were getting the ball, a lot of players were running to feet, showing feet, and I just felt that even like all of them, when they were coming to show for it, it was never getting the ball on the half turn and turning out and trying to play that pass. It was my back's to their goal, so I'm only going to go back towards our goal and then go out and find wide players, which is, obviously a tactic. I just feel be a bit braver, but hopefully that will come as tournament goes on. But I thought Henderson, the way he got the ball and did stick it out wide and, backed himself to make those passes, that's half the battle, is having the confidence to actually try it. And maybe he's been naive, or maybe he's been guilty of not doing it in the past because he's been a bit too scared to play that pass. And for Liverpool, he has probably been like that. But for England, I kind of feel like he stepped up a little bit, and a lot of those players in that England team would look at him and be like, this guy's captain Liverpool in Champions League final. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously got a bit about him. He's played in those big games. And you like to think that these guys like him, Harry Kane, John Stones, they're going to be the guys that are going to step up in this tournament to see England progress, hopefully.
The two guys I want to give a definite mention out to is Rashford and Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek is a unit, bruv.
Man's a bull, bruv. I don't know what he's been eating, bruv, but give me some.
How old is he? He's like young as well.
Fuck, man's just like flipping. I don't
eating
know what
bricks. I don't know what he's doing.
Saying. Well, imagine that you're Tunisia and that you're thinking, boy, you know what, we're getting through the game, and then that flipping
tank walks through.
He's a guy from Thor, but Thor, the fucking mixed race Thor walks out, bro. I was thinking, that.
No, but you know what I mean? He had a great game when he came on. He was so direct, so strong, and some of his decision making at the crucial times I thought was spot on. And he definitely added something to his Rashford, the pace and directness. It was great to see him come on, and hopefully he stays fit now. I think that was the main reason why he probably didn't start.
Yeah, well, listen, all I'm saying is if you're going to, even any team that see him running up at them, you got to make a decision. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing with him, because he's powerful and he's got good feet for a big dude. It's like, okay, well, what do I do here? And I think that was today. It was a bit of a difference because we started to penetrate a bit more. When we started getting the ball, we got a bit samey because we were going out wide. All of a sudden, you got him running at you and Rashford, and I thought, the changes were decent. So hats off to the manager for that because he's made the decision. So, and
I think even the second goal came from either Rashford or Loftus-Cheek actually winning the corner for nothing as well. From nothing, hit against the defender, got the corner. So both of them were actually, like you said, clever subs. But one thing was Southgate's interview at the end. Now, he said that he felt it was a great performance regardless of the scoreline. If it was a draw, he feels happy with the performance. Now, I didn't really like that. I know he's trying to stay positive, but I didn't think it was an all-round total great performance. But the subs, what about the subs? I mean, he didn't use his 3 subs. Now, I was getting vexed. You've got Vardy still on the bench. He
made the third one, didn't he, with Dyer once they scored the second goal.
which was cool, I guess, and to kill the time.
To kill the time.
But would you reckon he should have used the 3 or not?
Again, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but I would have done. I would have liked to have seen Vardy come on because I think he would have been good to stretch them a little bit because he's a willing runner. But I think it's weird. It's weird because the way you got to look at it is they've ground out a dirty win. They started really well. You can't deny that. The way we started was unbelievable. I think it went a bit flat into the middle of the game, and then they came on strong towards the end and got a late goal and won the game. But I don't think it was a polished performance by any means. Again, my observation still stands is that those playing out from the back, the manager's got to take responsibility. Again, I was discussing this earlier. If they do make mistakes playing out and they get beat, the manager has to step up and say, well, I want them to do that, so it's fine. I don't mind that. But what you got to understand is that these players have also got to be experienced enough to make the right decision at the right time. And I just think that, giving the ball away to someone like a Hazard in the position where it's 4-on-3.
Well, like you said, this is the true test and this is the World Cup, so this is where you're going to keep learning, right? And that's the most important thing. Man of the match. Who was man of the match for you?
Well, same thing actually for Liverpool. I mean, the man of the match, the guy who's obviously going to take all the headlines is your boy Harry Kane because he's got both the goals and they were both, good finishes to be in the right place at the right time. But I think performance-wise, I actually thought Hendo was probably my man of the match. I think just in the influence on the game, the sort of like the ratting, the passing, and controlling the tempo of the game. I thought Henderson would probably be my man of the match for that sense of it. But the guy that had the biggest impact and influence on the game was clearly Harry Kane.
Yeah, I'm going to second that as well. Harry Kane, like you said, when you needed him, it's his debut. It's his debut. The guy's World Cup debut, right? And he's got 2 goals and a really important goal. So Harry Kane, well done, man of the match. To finish off on the positive, really, I mean, we've got the 3 points. Like we said, it's the most important thing. On to Panama next. If we can win that game, 6 points in the bag, and that should get you through to the knockout stages. So it's all positives, I guess, from what we take.
Rosy, it's all rosy from there. Again, performance-wise, there's stuff they would have learned from that. I know that Southgate's putting his own stamp on things, and it's good to see. It is going to be a work in progress. So, it's a young side. Hopefully they continue to get better and go on strong. And I say the true test will be when you come up against someone like Belgium, depending on results really, because if they've both got 6 points, which I fully expect they both will, becomes... Well, they both they want top spot to get whoever second. So then that would be the true test, I guess. So yeah, all good.
So viewers, let us know your opinion. Do you think you should be happy about the performance, or do you think there was you're not actually happy with the performance and you think you should be worried about the way England played and how we scraped that victory?
And anyone knows, explain to me, explain this VIR bullshit. Let me know which way it works, how it works, because it would be great to know.
And don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Peace.